James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to play With or Without You by U2. And I'm surprised that I have not yet taught this on my channel because it uses the most common chord progression ever that you can use for thousands of songs. But even better than that, it uses super simple strumming. You know, that's not an oversimplification. If you're like the best guitar player in the world, you'd still play it just like that. And this is a great opportunity because it takes away the complexity of a strumming pattern, but still pushes you to play steady, you know, and play through an entire song. I'll just demonstrate a little bit of it for you.
Sleight of hand and twist of fate, on a bed of nails, she makes me wait, and I'll wait without you. With or without you. With or without you.
We're going to start with the chords. We have G going to D, and for that we're going to pivot off of our ring finger to make the switch so much smoother. If you're newer and having trouble with the chord shapes and with switching, I do have some free resources for you. I'll put a link in the corner and down below. Just some stuff to help you get over that initial hump and get those fundamentals down. Anyways, G to D, using that little trick, leaving your ring finger down. Then we're going to go to E minor, and I like to leave my ring finger down for a bit while I switch to it, and then I remove my ring finger. That way, I don't have to look at the guitar. I still have an anchor point, something keeping my hand on the guitar so that I can feel it out, right? Getting into that E minor. Then we're going to pivot off of our middle finger into a C chord. And C is one of the trickiest chords for beginners, I feel. It really requires you to arch your fingers. Get your thumb a bit lower. You know, when my thumb is high, look how short my fingers feel. When my thumb is lower, my fingers get way more reach. They can go in front of the fretboard way more easily. You know, and you just practice that switch. Like I said, in those free resources, I have all sorts of games and stuff that you can work on to really get the muscle memory going. Anyways, that's our chord progression for the entire song. I'm just going to write it out here. Before we add the strumming to it, we can just count downstrokes and just count our way through the chords going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You just do that over and over again, counting out loud, slow and steady, just to make sure that your chord hand is trained up and doing its job, right? Then we can add some strumming to it. And the strumming is almost this easy. We're just going to go. So we're playing 8 downstrokes per chord shape, but we don't count it out that way. We go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you don't have to do huge downstrokes either. If you make them too big, it might, you know, stress out your arm and throw off your rhythm in some other way. Just flick your wrist and just do little ones here. You know, I'm kind of making like a flicking motion, like an oval, like a circular-ish motion. And I just go 1 and 2. And I'm only aiming for like the lower strings of that chord, maybe, you know. And then you do the on the D chord. And for the D chord, we want to strum over here. Instead of strumming all the strings, just strum the higher strings. For E minor, the lower strings, and for C, the middle strings. But don't get too hung up on where you're strumming. Just feel it out. If something sounds off, adjust. Otherwise, just focus on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just keeping that solid strumming. You can even mute the strings. You know, you're playing like a drum. And then we just do that one time per chord shape, and that's the entire song.
See the stone set in your eyes.
2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and
I wait for you.
2 and 3 and 4 and you can go at your own pace. You don't have to go full speed right away. Go like Just focus on being smooth and steady. Remember that you want to break things down. Get the chords down first, then do the strumming just like that. And then you put it together and it'll sound pretty good. And if you want to add something just for like a bit of a challenge to this song, we can add some palm muting. And that's where we put our palm of our strumming hand overlapping the strings a little bit. So I just overlap the strings a little bit, and then you try out your chord. If you do it too much, you're not going to get any sound. Too little, and it doesn't even make a difference. So you just overlap a little bit, and you do the same thing, just flicking your wrist, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Let's do it slowly. And you can do that for the verse to really like play it down and like, get that subtle intensity. And then when you go into the chorus, go without you, with or without, and you just really go for it. Another thing you can do is you can accent some of the strokes. And accent means to like give them a little bit more. So instead of going like this on the chorus, where everything's even, you can go where the numbers have a bit more power behind them. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And that also just adds some dynamics, adds some expression. A lot of people get confused and they're focusing so hard on the downstrokes and the upstrokes and this complexity of strumming. But in reality, you're going to get way more feeling out of it when you focus on these other things, accenting and stuff like that. That makes a way, way bigger difference. And it does kind of prepare you to, learn all the stuff that you want to learn, right? It's one of the fundamental things. Speaking of fundamentals, don't forget to check out that free crash course that I mentioned earlier. There's a link down below for that. And if you just want to jump right in and get your playing to the next level, I have a premium course, Learn Guitar Once and For All, that's designed to take you from absolute beginner or eternal beginner, somebody who can never get past those beginner phases, and just develop the skills and the confidence that you need to just pick up a guitar and strum some chords, play the songs that you want to play, and to sound good doing it. I'll put a link down below for that as well if you want to check it out. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.